Hey everyone, it is great to see you all again. Do you ever find yourself on location or even at home scrolling menu after menu, page after page, trying to find a specific camera setting that you use every single day? Well, what if I told you that there's a solution to that? One that you've probably seen every time you pick up your camera. A way that you're able to change any setting with just a click of a button. Well, today we are going to go through Sony Camera's custom buttons, how you can change them to suit what's best for you, and then I will show you what I have found to be the most efficient way to program these buttons. One of which has saved me countless hours of frustration of missing the shot. So I hope you all enjoy. Let's start off by saying that I will be going through Sony Camera's custom button system, but it is transferable to any brand that supports it. So first, what are custom buttons and why would you want to use them? Like I mentioned before, these are buttons that you can choose to program to activate any setting instantly when you press it. For example, let's say you're deep into the settings menu trying to switch your focus mode from single shot focus to continuous autofocus. With a custom button, you can program it instantly to switch from single focus to continuous focus, or have it pull up the focus mode menu so you can switch it from there. Now, setting all of these custom buttons is actually really easy. Just head over to your settings menu, go down to the second tab, over to the 7th page, and down to custom key settings. Here you're able to customize every single clickable button on your Sony camera. One telltale sign that you need to program your custom buttons is when you memorize keystrokes to certain settings in your camera's menu. Trust me, I am guilty of this, but I can assure you that custom buttons are so much better. Another thing to point out is that the dedicated C1, C2, C3, and C4 buttons aren't the only buttons you are able to program. You actually have the ability to program pretty much any clickable button on your entire Sony camera. Now, with all that being said, finding a format for you is going to vary from person to person, and it's really going to depend on what type of photography you shoot. So what I want you to think about first is, what is the single most important setting you use on any given session? That's where I want you to start. For me, as a landscape photographer, it is the shooting mode. I am constantly switching between a high continuous shutter and the single shot mode. So for me, I have the left scroll wheel button programmed to pull up the shooting menu so I can switch between the two seamlessly. I should also mention that I am shooting with the Sony a7R II, but most Sony cameras should have a similar layout. Another super important setting that I'm always changing is the focus mode. So I have C2 programmed to pull up the focus mode menu so I'm able to switch between those seamlessly. However, I want you to go through in your mind what exactly the most important settings you use on a day-to-day basis, or ones that you're continuously changing on location, and start to figure out how your thumb moves on your right hand and how your thumb moves on your left hand, and figure out what's going to be the most comfortable position for you when switching those buttons. Now, going through my custom button layout. First, I have C2 as the focus area, so I can switch from wide to zone or to anything that I wanted. C3, right now I'm getting a warning that I have no lens attached because it is the focus mode, but I also have the manual focus and eye autofocus lock as the switch, and then I toggle it with the button. C4, I have it to switch my white balance. The left scroll wheel is my shooting mode, so high continuous shutter and all of those options. The up scroll wheel is the display settings, so I can show my histogram, my level, everything like that. My right scroll wheel is the ISO. And then the FN button shows all of the functions, so it has it all kind of on one screen. Now finally, without question, the most important setting you can change, and one that will undoubtedly save you from hours and hours of frustration, is having a dedicated button to autofocus, also known as a back button focus. When your camera is shipped from the factory, the default autofocus button is when you half press the shutter. I can't tell you how many times I've had a shot set up in perfect focus, everything lined up, and when I go to take the photo, the camera refocuses at the last minute. It is unbelievable unbelievably frustrating. I have mine programmed to C1, so it's essentially right by the shutter button, so I can press both at the same time and not have to worry about it refocusing. You can set it to whatever you want, but make sure it's comfortable and one that you're not going to forget. A very popular place is to use the center button in your scroll wheel. Now, I know that was a lot of information at once, but I hope you all did learn something from this week's video. I know I have these programmed and I haven't gone back to scrolling through the menus and the pages ever since. So thank you all so much for watching this week's video. If you didn't already know, I started a Discord server for the entire community to come together, share photos, and give feedback. And then at the end of every month, I'm going to feature a photo that was submitted for a monthly contest. Other than that, if you could subscribe to my weekly newsletter for weekly updates, and then for vlog, blog, and other video updates, if you could like and follow my Facebook page. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.